Now, I get to introduce this amazing African American sister colleague, disruptor, by the name Naughty, but my friend, I don't know where she went, Dr. Charity. You probably know her as Dr. Charity. She is going to come to us in just a moment, but give me a moment. I want to read just a bit from her bio. She's a nationally recognized advocate for transforming systems for children and family, and we've got to lean into changing systems. Program's not gonna do it, y'all. We've got to move the needle, and that's through systemic change. And she is the first person of color and a leader with lived experience to lead CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates of Los Angeles. She advanced bold efforts to humanize foster care with equity, dignity, and liberation. She is the founder of CARE, an AI-powered company reimagining child welfare, and vice chair of the LA County Commission for Children and Families. She is an author, a speaker, and a beloved mom or mommy to, I believe, right? To some handsome, very handsome young men who she can't deny because they look just like her. Dr. Chandler Cole is a disruptor of silence. Howard Thurman would call her an advocate for the least, the lost, the left out, and those with their backs up against the wall. She has an unwavering voice for justice, and with that, I give you Dr. Charity.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am just extremely blessed and honored to be here with you all today. And if anybody's wondering why my kids are here and not in school, it's because they're homeschooled, okay? But I just want to shout out Jaren and Yasmin for inviting me today again. It's just such an honor to be with just such phenomenal people today. I come to you all as a mother, a wife, a lifelong Angelino, a former nonprofit CEO who spent years advocating for children and families, a county commissioner, and a woman whose bone still remembers what it feels like to be misheard, mishandled, and misread by the very system sworn to protect me. I also come to you as a builder, a justice alchemist, and a lived experience leader and expert. Today's theme is our blueprint and our boundary line. Advocating with urgency, building with love. Urgency without love becomes harm in a hurry. Love without urgency becomes a familiar blanket of hopes and wishes, but lacks true action. Our babies deserve neither. They deserve both, right now and for the long haul. I want to start by telling you a story about a girl. Is that okay? Yes. It's 2002. She's nervous, a little scared, but anxious to get it over with. She just turned 16 and definitely a grown woman if you asked her. She got involved with gangs and even sold drugs at the age of 14, so this here was nothing, right? But it had to be done, and it needed to be done now. Someone was counting on her, and she couldn't disappoint. She quickly slipped the product in her pants and hurried out the door. The coast was clear, and her friend was close behind, or so she thought. Despite the burning desire to keep it pushing, she goes back to check on her friend. 2 minutes later, she's in loss prevention, waiting for the cops to arrive. The seats were pretty hard as she drove in the back of the police car, and she wasn't sure which was more embarrassing, people staring in the back of the car as they drove to the precinct, or the paused shopping and hard glares as she was escorted through the store in handcuffs. Either way, she was going to jail, and she had no idea how this one moment and event would change her life forever. Fingerprints, mug shots, shoelaces, and hair ties removed her hair down in a fro. She was booked and awaiting transport to Central Juvenile Hall. No one asked why she had a pack of Fruit of the Loom underwear stuffed in her clothes, or why her mother just didn't come pick her up from the store. No one seemed to care that she was poor or that her little sister really needed those new underwear. 0 questions were asked, 0 fucks were given. The next 2 years of this girl's life involved witnessing a system that criminalized little girls, some as young as 12 years old, for being raped by grown men. She witnessed a system that dehumanized youth and people of color and took adult aggressions out on children that lacked power. Having nowhere to go at the time of her release, she was placed in foster care, where her education was thwarted, she was neglected, abused, sexually exploited, and told from day one she would never amount to anything. She eventually ran away because she just couldn't take it anymore and experienced what it felt like to be homeless, jumping from couch to couch or bed to bed. The park was, of course, the worst. This girl, now 18, was pregnant, homeless, and had nothing to live for. She was ready to end it all. She had nowhere to go. I am that girl. And when people see me now, they see Dr. Charity, leader, wife, mother. They don't often see the park benches, the couch surfing, the hurt you swallow whole to survive. They don't see the teenager who sold drugs, joined a gang, or the young mom who wrote unbelievable words on sticky notes and placed them around her mirror. Words like loved, beautiful, smart, worthy, and repeated them over and over and over again until the reflection she was looking at finally believed her. That's the woman who stands here today. And let's be clear, I didn't make it because I'm stronger than average. I made it because strangers became champions, because advocates and educators refused to let a file define my future, and because I decided to be my own hero and rewrite my story with the truth in permanent ink. Here's the hard truth. Systems don't always hurt our kids in theory. They harm our kids in practice. When good people, exhausted and overruled, implement bad policy on autopilot. We are recruited to be the face of rules and written in rooms our children will never enter. And that's not an indictment on the humans that are doing their best. That's an invitation to stop colluding with business as usual and start aligning our daily actions with our deepest convictions. If you take nothing else from me today, take this. Question everything. Even the parts of your job that no longer make sense when a child's humanity is on the line. Urgency means doing today what spares a child years of repair tomorrow. It looks like getting a mental health check this week and not months later. It looks like enrolling a child in school this week and not when the packet is finished. It looks like believing a child when they say someone that is meant to protect them is causing them harm. And it means that we cannot show up for a child's best interest if we don't and we refuse to consider the whole family and the context behind what brought them to our doors and the cries for help that are often written between the lines. Urgency asks different questions like, what barriers am I imposing? Whose permission am I waiting for? And what would I do if this was my child? Love isn't soft. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is also design. Love is budget. Love is good policy. Love is the tone you set when a youth walks in scared and walks out being seen and validated. Love is justice in action. Love looks like mandated supporting, a culture shift from reflexive reporting that criminalizes poverty to rapid support that stabilizes families. Love looks like data that heals, not harms. Collect only what connects, explain it clearly, and let families see themselves whole. Love looks like youth co-design, stipend councils with real veto power over programs built for them. And love looks like protecting the protectors, caseload caps, reflective supervision, trauma-informed workplaces, and leaders who mean it. When urgency and love stayed married, we build durable power, changes that outlast elections, staff turnover, and budget cycles, because they're coded with humanity and defended by community. CDF's mission calls us to raise children in dignity, hope, and joy. Let's make those our 3 pillars and give you something to take home today. Dignity means we see the whole child and the whole family. It starts with our words. We retire deficit narratives and write wholeness into every report and court statement by asking what's strong here, what's working. It shows up in our posture, family first as the default, treating a request for help as a sign of strength. And it lives in our practice. Policies translated into language a 15-year-old can understand, because if we can't explain it clearly, we have no right enforcing it. And hope means we build systems that repair, not punish. We trace a young person's journey through our agency, and we close the ends on purpose and on schedule, so momentum doesn't die in our hallways. And we measure what matters by tying our own performance to barrier removal. Who got in the door faster, who reunited sooner, and we deploy ethical technology that reduces duplicate data entry, surfaces bottlenecks and biases, and gets kids what they need sooner. Yes. In the world of AI, tech should never replace human judgment, but it should, and it can, amplify our humanity. And joy means belonging is non-negotiable. We fund the extras that are anything but, like arts, sports, filmmaking, senior prom, senior trips, because joy is a protective factor, not a perk. And we build a culture that celebrates progress in real time. 3 days in school gets a shout out. A caseworker removes 5 barriers in 1 call, gets the bell rung. That's how CDF's promise of dignity, hope, and joy moves from mission statement to muscle memory, from aspiration to everyday action. And let's be honest about the headwinds we're facing right now. Policy is not abstract for our kids. It's the weather they have to walk through every day. On day 1, this administration moved to end federal DEI programs and directed agencies to police DEI efforts. That's not neutral. That's an instruction to roll back equity in practice. At the same time, new immigration orders have pushed aggressive enforcement that chills families from seeking help and threatens the community partnerships we rely on. When a parent is deciding between sending their child to school or staying hidden in the shadows of shame, fear, and defeat, that's not just a policy debate. That's a child absorbing our fear and a family living in terror. Across the country, legislators are attempting to dismantle decades of social justice work and muzzling belonging work, sending a loud message to Black, brown, and LGBTQI+ communities and students that you do not belong here, you do not matter. And if we're telling the truth, Black leadership is being attacked in this climate. I know what it is to be a Black woman with lived experience in charge and still be treated as a problem to be solved. Yes. I know what it is to pour into an organization that serves people like me and be shown the door. These actions are not isolated incidents. They live in the same ecosystem that mocks DEI as a slur, that second guesses our competence and punishes our convictions. So I'm not asking y'all to be brave in theory. I'm asking you to practice institutional courage, to keep fighting for just policy, to keep enrolling children quickly even when the forms lag, to keep families first when the headlines go low, to ring the bell for micro wins when cynicism gets loud, to use tech that closes gaps instead of opening wounds, and to defend the adults that defend our kids. Yes. I want us to take 60 seconds, unclench your jaw, breathe a little, feet on the floor. I want you to think of a young person by name. And I want you to think of one barrier that is within your power to change. And I want you to name one person you're going to call this week to remove it. That's urgency. Now I want you to picture how you'll do it without shaming a family, burning out a worker, or humiliating a child. That's love. Write it down, text yourself, tell your neighbor. Accountability is a love language. What I've learned in the trenches is that resilience isn't a trophy, it's a receipt. When people call me strong, I remember the cost. Let's build a world where kids don't have to be extraordinary to access the ordinary. And courage is a team sport. The best wins came when the county, the courts, community orgs, philanthropy, and families chased outcomes together and shared the credit. And policy is personal. The difference between a child sleeping in a car or a child sleeping in a bed might be a bus token, a hotel voucher, or one supervisor willing to say, I'll sign it now. In closing, I want you all to join me in a little call and response. Y'all okay with that? Yeah. Okay. So when I say with urgency, I want y'all to say with love, okay? When I say with urgency, y'all say with love. Move resources at the speed of need with urgency. With love. Write budgets as moral documents with urgency and with love. Center youth voice as direction, not decoration, with urgency. With love. Build tools that serve people and dismantle barriers with urgency and with love. Protect the protectors with urgency and with love. And fight until every child grows up in dignity, hope, and joy with urgency. With love. Family, our children can't put childhood on hold while we figure this out. That's right. We have to move fast, and we must hold our children with love. We must choose courage over convenience, and we cannot wait for perfection. We must start with what's possible. Let us be the generation that refuses to choose between speed and soul. Let us advocate with urgency. Let us build with love, and let's do it together until the ordinary miracle of a safe, joyful childhood is a guarantee, not a gamble. Thank you.